Shadow Fiend. Night Stalker.
Bang.
Dazzle.
All right, everybody, welcome back. After a bit of a break, we had a Dota 2 patch. We've got Game 3, Empire versus Team Secret. Lyrical, how are you feeling about this one?
I'm super excited. They are ready to go, super duper ready for this one.
Yeah, so we're in the draft. We're actually a few picks deep. These teams loaded in, and it was like snap, 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 pick, well, bam, 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 pick, pick, pick. They had 10 minutes to think about it, so it's not a surprise that they're quickly. But this is the first time either team's dipped into the reserve time as we get to the second ban stage. Both teams knew exactly what they wanted. For the first time, Secret did have first pick. They had selection this time, so they got Shadow Fiend. On the Radiant side, especially strong because you've got such easy access to your own jungle. So, and a hero that's been banned out in the first stage, both games, against Empire when Empire were Radiant.
And I really like here as well. I think the Dazzle makes perfect sense in there. You know, sometimes you also see the Earthshaker that can get thrown in with the Shadow Fiend. You have the possibility to simultaneously keep your hero alive while being able to stack on up for him. Depending upon what Secret end up going in the safe lane, if they wanted to, they could still pick up that Earthshaker, have the Dazzle babysit over there in the safe lane, and then throw the Earthshaker in the mid to be able to keep the Shadow Fiend alive and help protect against ganks. And that is definitely a possibility, considering you already have a Night Stalker Bane combo, which can be very potent in terms of their ability to make stuff happen in the early game.
Yeah, and I think one of the really nice things is that if you want to try and use everything to kill the SF, even get like a chain set on before it can BKB, Dazzle can guarantee that before the hero goes down, he does a ton of damage. Because if you get off that first Requiem and then you die after the Grave wears off, that's like 1.5 Requiems worth of damage. And SF has kind of done his duty, and that's where the rest of the team should be able to clean up, depending what heroes we're going to see Misery on, as well as Jackie playing. So, very nice combo, not to mention the minus armor and everything that goes along with it. So, Empire, going back to the game of aggression, they picked up a Night Stalker once more, and feeling like this is a pick that can work for them, even if it didn't work out in game 1. But a very aggressive hero gives them a lot of early to mid-game presence.
Certainly, and you also see there the Broodmother that's been banned out, another hero that, while it didn't end up working out for them, the large part of the reason that I feel like it didn't work for Secret was because of the Doom, which now that he's been taken out of the pool, you've got the possibility to be able to rerun the Brood if you wanted to, and going to make sure that doesn't happen. We're going to see another IO, this time coming out from Team Empire.
This means IO Tiny, almost without a doubt. Empire were kind of one of the big teams at the forefront of the initial IO Tiny meta game, going back to like a previous Star Ladder where they were picking it every game. They won the championship over Virtus Pro in the finals with an IO Tiny, and they've been doing it a bit recently too. So it's been more Yoku playing the Tiny now that he's on the mid role rather than Resolution, and we'll have to see how it works out for them. Secret have got to be expecting the Tiny to come as that 4th pick and prepare appropriately for that. Winter Wyvern, one of the better supports against the IO Tiny, has been banned out by Secret themselves, so they are somewhat limited in their options.
Well, and you know, one of the ways that you can potentially deal with it is a Witch Doctor. I feel like that's also a pretty great hero for dealing with IO Tiny. The thing I'm really concerned about here at this point, though, is this is going to mean it's a Night Stalker in the off lane, which can be difficult to deal with depending upon which supports you have. And having the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane already pulls one of those away. So you need to have a little bit more of an independent carry as well as a support that's going to be able to stand up and potentially be able to... Depending on what the hero is, you could have a lot of trouble rune controlling against the Night Stalker, particularly with that 4-minute rune. You've got the possibility to run on over there with the offlane Night Stalker, pick it up, and then just tear down one of the supports if they're not careful. So positioning, the location on the map, being aware of where that Night Stalker is, all of these things are going to need to be taken into consideration by Secret, who opt to go for the Clockwork, and there's Tiny for the Empire.
Yeah, the Clock doesn't reveal too much. It was just a toss-up kind of whether they went for the Clock or the Tusk, I guess, with that pick. And they decide the counter-initiation potential of a Clock is slightly better than the Tusk, who has a bit more kind of utility to him with Snowball and Sigil, but Clock just the ultimate counter-initiator in the game, or even like the initiator himself a lot of the time. So Secret pick up Visage as their secondary support, deciding they want to opt for more physical damage to go with the minus armor that SF and Dazzle can provide. I kind of like this approach. It also gives them some firepower, which Clockwork and Dazzle kind of lack. So you don't want to be entirely reliant on Shadow Fiend to dish out all the damage in a fight. Having that extra source of damage from a Visage can definitely help out here.
Well, and they're not revealing their carry, and they also, I think, Grave Chill is going to be really great against Night Stalker, going to be able to sort of mitigate the crazy sort of dive in on you-ness that is the Night Stalker there, and keeping a little bit of separation between your carry
and late
him
game against Tiny, it's also a great spell. 6-second duration on a 10-second cooldown.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Visage isn't normally a hero that will get focused down as well. You're normally sitting kind of at the back of the fight a little bit, spamming your nuke, spamming your Grave Chill, and you're not a top priority kill target. You'd rather go on the SF or kill the Dazzle, preventing the Graves to come out. So it's one of a kind of under-mentioned spells, and I'm glad you kind of bring it up there, because I feel like it can have a big impact on this game.
In the early game, I mean, Soul Assumption is one of the best ones as well. You're going to be able to really burst down, and Night Stalker is a hero that part of the reason he's tanky is because of his really high armor. He's got, I believe, 6 there at the early levels, and once you end up getting the Visage on there, tossing out those Soul Assumptions, magic damage doesn't care a whole heck of a lot about your armor. You see the Slardar banned out now, thinking that that might be a possibility, and with all the minus armor you got right here, that would have been a really interesting choice.
Definitely synergizes really well with the draft, and something that we've seen a lot of teams do, the Slardar with the Shadow Fiend. I feel like Secret do want that more lane-independent hero. You kind of mentioned that you might not get a whole lot of help. He has got 2 pretty solid supports in Dazzle, Visage, but Envy often plays those kind of carries. Razor would have been a good option, also banned out, that can just kind of sustain themselves in the lane by themselves.
Wondering about like a Viper or something like that. Maybe some type of tanky hold on the fort hero.
My main issue with Vipers is mobility, because you haven't got good follow-up for a Clockwork at that point. Like if Clockwork hooks in at some distance away, I feel like you want to have either a blink follow-up or something which can throw some damage from afar, because otherwise it doesn't feel like Clock can initiate unless his team are already charging forward. Something Secret themselves used to do with their old roster was the Queen of Pain, Shadow Fiend as their dual core, which I feel could have worked, but another hero that's banned out, as I look down, Queen of Pain is also banned out.
Do you think they need more right-click than just the Shadow Fiend and Visage here?
I don't think they need it. I think they could go for that kind of utility or more nuke-oriented carry if they want to.
Yeah.
And I think getting something, you don't want something that's going to have to fight Tiny up close. You want something with some ranged capabilities to kite him around. If you're a melee, you want to be, if you're getting a melee here, then it's that Blink Initiator type, like the Slardar, which would work well against the Tiny. I don't think you want to melee carry like a Spectre, I would say, is kind of like a bad example of a hero you could go for. Is it an anti-mage game? It's always an Envy loves anti-mage.
Yeah, certainly. And
it's not a anti-mage is just like in a category of his own, because he doesn't team fight. He just anti-mages up the game, goes in split pushes, and
well, and there's some synergy there too with the Visage birds. You've got the possibility to, you know, push on down lanes pretty significantly with them as well. Empire, we haven't talked much about their last pick here as well. I'm assuming that this is going to be at this point the off safe lane as well
for silent, probably.
Yeah,
that's where I think Wraithkin got banned out as a silent ban. And Gyrocopter, whew, haven't seen much of him lately.
I haven't, but certainly a hero that Silent likes to play. I think that last patch he ended up playing him like 25 times, and then the next highest was like an 8 pick on the Queen of Pain or something. They love that hero on that player.
Yeah. And good laning hero, and that's where against a Clockwork it opens up the supports. You're not going to have Io supporting Gyro for one thing. Io's going to be in the mid lane with Tiny, stacking the neutrals. Bane can be a bit more free to roam around, since Clockwork can't really go up and bully a Gyrocopter with the threat of the Rocket Barrage. The new Mango buffs too. Mango Gyrocopter, the way to go against Clockwork.
There we go. Mango Gaming.
Oh yeah.
Forward to seeing that one.
We're seeing a lot more Mangoes. I think it was game 1, there was a double Mango on the Night Stalker, so Mangoes are definitely in style right now.
Gives him 4 base, and there we go, the Juggernaut. Interesting.
Oh, that's good carry against Tiny, because you Omni Slash just bypass all the Craggy and other stuff he can throw at you.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering. Do you think that this Juggernaut's going to want to prioritize eventually an Ags, or do you still think that the sort of stats way is the way to go?
I think stats way, or not even necessarily like massing stats and going for the SMY. I think SMY Scotty's still just such a good item build. It's To me, Axe just doesn't give you enough on this hero as an early pickup. After you've got a few good items to boost up your Omni Slash with the extra bonus attacks, then it becomes more feasible. But I think he's going to need other items to fight the Tiny, and also if the Tiny's got the backup of the Eye is always going to save the Tiny from that Omni Slash.
Right, yeah. I mean, it fits perfectly with this rest of this draft. You've got minus armor. Who hits harder than Juggernaut right there? That's going to be great.
The other important thing to note is Gyrocopter cooldown no longer pierces BKB, and that's where it's SF or BKB hero, and Jug doesn't have to go BKB. He can always Blade Fury and then run away. In the past, against Gyrocopter, if you got caught by the cooldown, even if you're Blade Fury, it slows you down so much, so your Blade Fury ends and then you die to Rocket Barrage. So the changes to the cooldown makes Jug an even better pick here against Gyro.
Well, and I feel like always when you're thinking about a Juggernaut in the pick, you're looking for sort of untargetability, sustainability in lane, and that is really what I think they were needing in this lane, considering you're probably going to be having a Dazzle that was sitting more often off to the side, and being able to combo on up a couple, you know, you've got, like we were talking about, the Grave Chill coming out in conjunction with a Blade Fury there. That's a heck of a lot of damage really, really quickly, particularly with the buff that it ended up getting. It's going up to 155 damage over time per second, lasting 5 seconds. That's a huge nuke.
Yeah. And last time I saw him play this, I think it was 6.84. He didn't go for the Blade Fury build. He still went for that 1 point in Blade Fury, mass stats, a few in crit, Mask of Madness, SMY Skadi. It was a game they won, and it seemed like a good build. And I think it's still a viable build, but you have that option depending how the game's going. Against a team like Empire, who you know is going to want to fight a lot around that 10 to 20 minute stage of the game, and be forcing the issue, that's where I feel Blade Fury offers you. It's the perfect build to go against a team like Empire who play aggressive Dota.
Yeah. Well, waiting for one last person to hop on into this one, we can do a quick little introduction of all these wonderful players who we've gotten to see so much of today. Been putting out some really great games. Solid Dota. Resolution's going to be playing at the Night Stalker. We got Yoku's going to be playing at that Tiny. Silent's going to be on the Gyrocopter. No Fear on the Bane. Last but not least, Aloha Dance playing the Little Ball of Light.
Team Secret over on that Radiant side. Puppy on Visage. Hero he hasn't played much of because in the past it was always Kuro on the Visage. We'll see Misery on the offlane. Clockwork, Jackie or Eternal Envy on Juggernaut. Weeha, or We, playing the Shadow Fiend, and that leaves Pylai Die for the 5th pick, which is the Io, or Wisp, as he's more commonly known. Oh, Dazzle, sorry. Io's on the other side. What am I talking about? Dazzle.
He hasn't gotten into the game yet. We don't know what he's going to play.
It was the previous game where he was the Io. I'm still in game 2 mindset. I was like, he's got the Io.
We were expecting more after the 80 minutes. It ended so quickly.
Yeah, I'm still in. Game 1 was 80 minutes, so this game it still feels like continuation from game 2.
Definitely pretty cool. I think it's going to be really interesting the way that this Io Tiny is going to end up working out in terms of the ability to control the tempo, and I think that's going to be the matchup to watch. How well is Yoku going to be able to play this Tiny and deny out creeps from the Shadow Fiend? Do you think, is there any matchup in particular that you're really concerned about for either team?
The Shadow Fiend against an Io Tiny in the mid lane is a very rough matchup for SF. He's going to need that support backup from Dazzle constantly. I think we may see Secret almost dedicate Dazzle to the mid lane. And also, even just from Weeha's items, you can tell he wants the early stats. He's gone level 1 Magic Wand against this lane.
Jeez.
Wants that little bit of extra heal, so it kind of is as a substitute for getting some more regen. You've got Magic Wand charges, which will come out pretty quickly, with Tether being used continuously from an Io, with Tiny looking to maybe just... Normally with Io Tiny, you're spamming out your combo as much as possible, and then not only do you get the bit of heal, you get the extra stats. So he's going to be going fast... Still needs to stop by the bottle, but I could see him getting just early, cheap, cost-effective HP items against Io Tiny.
Worth noting as well here that Weeha able to pick on off that Observer Ward as soon as it was placed, which ended up meaning that he got an extra 25 EXP, sharing a little bit with the Visage. So if they get this bottle for him, he's going to be even closer to getting that oh-so-elusive level 2, and I don't think that Silent's really going to be able to take this one any further.
And he got a soul.
Yeah, there you go, definitely.
1 soul, what a start. Weeha, 1 soul, Bounty Rune.
Juggernaut gets the one down bottom, too.
125 XP. Wow, that's actually like the dream start for Team Secret. I think the block is going to favor Empire in the mid lane, which does make a bit of a difference. And that's where, like Empire, were prioritizing getting a good block from the start of the creep spawn.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like, I mean, Aloha's Gonna Dance is going to be able to pick up this bottle really soon anyways. He didn't really buy anything, and so is going to be able to work his way towards that. It's not really hurting him too much that he didn't end up getting that first early rune.
Matters more for the XP side, where Shadow Fiend did get one, so he's going to have fast level 2 and level 3. There's a lot of potential threat of a kill when you go in if he has level 2 raises.
Yeah.
And they're just dual laning right back. Dazzle just sharing the lane. And I think this is possible because SF doesn't necessarily need the solo XP. He'd rather have the protection that can keep him alive against an IO Tiny, who themselves are dual laning and will not get solo XP.
Certainly, yeah. Definitely pretty nice there. It does look like we're going to see a little bit more of the contest to this pull over here. No Fear was doing a heck of a lot of damage to that Juggernaut down bottom. If you take a look, he's taking a lot of his HP off, just continually harassing away while the pull was going on. So, doing it pretty good. This dual lane, you know, we talked about it up top. The matchup with Clockwork and Gyrocopter, you can kind of solo that to a large extent with the Gyro, and so because of that, that's freed up this aggressive dual lane. And I'm not sure exactly how much it's going to end up affecting them, but 6 and 4 now on the Night Stalker versus the 3 and 0 of the Jug, doing pretty well.
Yes, and Gyro in this 1v1 should win the CS battle. Clockwork's not too worried about that because we will see a fast level 6 on Misery if there's no rotation. So Misery's a hero much more geared at catching up through kills and just having a high impact through kills, where the Gyro will want to have a good laning stage and try and even find a kill opportunity on Clockwork if possible, using that Mango for some burst mana to get a rocket barrage off. But for now, probably not going to be something Misery lets happen.
Certainly. We also saw down there stacks starting to come out. Unfortunately, the Dazzle didn't quite hit the large camp, but was still able to get the medium one with the Shadow Fiend. So starting to build those up becomes a really big thing, and I don't see a ton of them across the board quite yet for the IO Tiny, which is definitely a way that not only just if you do fall behind to catch up, but also the ability to really accelerate and go way past what you should be able to have in terms of your CS. Tosses out an Avalanche there as well. Weeha just continuing to mess with them, but wasn't quite able to get that pseudo deny off on the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, and this has been a okay lane for Weeha so far, seeing on 12 CS for now and level 3.5, so he's not too phased by the laning stage at least. And that's where the SF struggles most against the IO Tiny. Once he gets his core items up and he farms his stack, suddenly you're looking at Treads, Bottle Wand, often even a Ring of Aquila for some extra stats, and you're tanky enough to stay alive.
Yeah, it'd be really great. And I think down here, the resolutions ended up going for the 2 Mango build again, so a lot of regen coming out. He's got 12 when he ends up eating one of those tangos, and is going to be able to consistently sort of mess with and deal a lot of damage to this Juggernaut in the bottom lane.
Jug, who's completely skipped over Blade Fury.
Yeah.
That's... to me, you definitely bare minimum, you will get a value point. He may wait till level 4 or 5 to do so, but deciding he wants to go more of that just right-click carry build.
I'm really concerned, actually. If they get enough denies off here, they might be able to potentially have the 4-minute timing come out, and Juggernaut wouldn't have his Blade Fury yet. We'll see.
He
just gets it right now.
He got solo XP as Puppy was off-pulling, and he has picked up Blade Fury, so going for a 1-1-1 build with the single-pointed stats. 4-minute rune coming out, and Yuki wants to contest.
Really got a little bit of harassment off that. Is going to be the Shadow Fiend picking up the illusion, and that's going to be able to be enough to burst on down that IO. First blood coming in. We had a lot of crazy games earlier, and this one being a little bit more passive so far. Maybe might opt to change that relatively shortly once you get a couple of these core items up. Mainly just sort of a farm fest.
And also just the night times hit, so I don't even think we'll see Resolution just stick to this bottom lane. If anything, he can quite likely head towards mid, and with an IO Tiny combo, you're looking at kills onto Shadow Fiend. So I think he's most valuable around the mid lane with No Fear just staying by himself at bottom.
Ooh, couple more raises on Aloha Dance, dropping a little bit low, but wasn't able to hit on all of them, the first one at least, and not enough right-click damage to take him down.
This has become a really tough lane for IO Tiny. Weeha has 16 one charges, and he wants to hold on to these. He wants the burst heal for when they go on him. He'd rather Dazzle, heal him up, and use his mana to heal him up than pop through his one charges now just to help him boost up that HP and reset the counter so he can get some more. He really wants to be able to save those for when he's getting ganked and dived. If you try and gank him with a Night Stalker and he's got a 17 one-charge heal and a Dazzle behind him, he may just turn it around and get a double kill or something with these level 3 raises.
And hoping potentially then that the Night Stalker does rotate to be able to have that type of situation, bait it on out a little bit. I guess though that the probably at this point in time Empire would be seeing those wand charges and not opt to jump in it.
Yes.
Well, a little bit of a call down up here in the top lane. Misery dropping somewhat low, doesn't hit. No Fear is actually going to be able to catch him. Nice cogs keeping him alive. That's going to be a nightmare. Is that lethal? It's pretty close to it. One more right click should be enough. That's going to be it, and nicely done. Bane getting the kill, playing it very solidly.
Dazzle. He needs to get to the Ancients for his suicide, I'd say. Yeah, he's bought a TP1, he's buying wards, he's going to go for his suicide, and fortunately for Pilot Die, he's not going to gear in time.
Can he just walk away?
He can, but he doesn't know, like, he doesn't have vision. If he had vision, it's better at level, what, he's level 4? It's probably about this. It's actually probably quicker to suicide.
Puppy in some trouble in the jungle over here. He's going to Grave Chill, try and keep his little bit of separation, and now the Shadow Fiend rotating as well to try and help out a little bit. Io jumping forward, able to take on down Puppy. Down there, Weehaw might be in a little bit of trouble as well, but he's got so much damage, and those wand charges coming on out. This is going to be a turnaround. Aloha Dance falling low is going to be enough. Gets the kill on Io, but dies to the Night Stalker.
Okay. Okay for the Shadow Fiend, not really what you want big picture wise for Secret though. SF does get the kills, but for Empire it's very much trying to make the most out of this nighttime, and now diving behind the tier 1 tower. Jackie's rotated in with Omnislash. He wants to find resolution here. Can't solo kill him with Omnislash though. He's sitting on 800 plus HP with 7 armor.
Oof.
And he may even get out of this one.
Yeah, Grave Chill wasn't quite off cooldown to be able to slow him down. It is now. Does he get the range? No, not quite. With Io there getting the tether, he's going to be able to walk away. But 4 heroes mid now for Secret. They might be looking for something now. Just going to back out with the Juggernaut. Go back to farming, and everything's going to sort of equalize a little bit.
Very much a wasted rotation though when you bring in your Juggernaut from the safe lane where he could be farming. To go for that play, you're expecting him to get bare minimum 1 kill from an Omnislash, and then he goes back to farming. He gets no kills. Doesn't find any farm, and Team Secret wastes a lot of time with that. So that's still a very effective play coming out from Resolution, even though he doesn't get too much more beyond the Shadow Fiend kill.
Yeah, a little bit of a toss coming on as well on the Pilot Die. It's kind of, sort of stalemated a little bit, I think, at this point. 2, 3 kills. Jump forward, maybe going to be able to make this happen. Yoki drops him up the Dazzle. That's going to be a kill. Is it going to be his life, though? Another tower shot. Oh, God. Weehaw dropping low. Needs to be careful that he doesn't end up getting spotted and taken out there. The call down over here to the side. Misery's taking a lot of damage. Oh, Nightmare to save 5. Are you kidding me?
What a play!
Oh, and then they're going to get
the Oh, what were you doing? You lived. Your Bane just made the play of his life to save you. That is what 8,000 MMR points gets you. A Bane play like that.
Oh.
You know, people, I saw the thread today, like, oh, S4 is 8,000 MMR, and then loading out, I was like, whoa, no fear. This guy is actually 8k MMR as well. He makes big plays.
Jeez, that's gotta hurt. You were so close, and like that's one of those ones as well that you end up rotating. Oh, Weehaw now as well, maybe gonna get tossed up in the area. Ends up getting killed by the Io. Nice spirits getting in there.
Well, you said the game's a stalemate, and the Empire say, yeah, right. We'll show you stalemate.
A couple of quick kills.
They come out firing.
Definitely. I can't believe that ended up happening. Stuck around a little bit too long and paid the price for it. But yet again, looking to be very much into Empire's favor at this point. About 3,000 gold swing. And just imagine how much more that would have been if the Gyro didn't end up dying there.
Yeah. And this Jug build is just... In Secret have this one hero that's forced to play fairly passively, can rotate with an Omnislash, but if you had Max Blade Fury at this stage, the kind of build I think I've seen Matumba Man do a bit, you're teeping in and offering so much to your team with phase plus drums, for example. You have huge movement speed, huge damage potential from a Blade Fury, and it's on 18-second cooldown, so you can use it so frequently that it's really hard for Empire to deal with, but it's a different kind of build, and for Secret it just means they're forced to play more slowly, more passively, and it's going to create opportunity for Empire where they can get aggressive, as we've seen so far.
Certainly, and they've been able to take advantage of it because of that. You do have to wonder at this point what would have happened if we would have had the potential to have the Juggernaut rotate on over and make something happen there. It looks like they do want to try and turn the tide a little bit, get aggressive. We do have the Dazzle, Clockwork, and Juggernaut all rotating around. Look to be trying to make a gank happen on mid. I don't know if the Dire spotted this, but it looks like they might have. Ooh, Yoku is going to run right on into Misery, maybe? Where? They can have him? Chuck shot catches onto the Io there. Nicely done. The Avalanche is going to to keep him alive a little bit longer. Oh, and that's just going to be a tether away. Nicely done by Aloha Dance, making that happen. And now they might try and reinitiate over here. We have Silent in the area. Call down. Oh, only catches onto the jug. This is going to be a cogs away by Misery. Trying to TP away. Is going to be able to make that one happen. And now over here to the side, Blade Fury. But there's the Fiend's Grip. Jackie dropping low. Catches a heck of a lot of damage. And Tiny ends up getting the kill there. This is a disaster at this point for Secret. Killing spree on the IO. Not often that you see that, but making it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Once that smoke gank into the enemy jungle fails, you're in so much trouble because you haven't killed anyone off and Empire are rotating. You're stuck in their jungle. They've got a tier 1 tower mid that they can rotate into, and has been spotted out by a ward. Here comes the relocate.
Oh god.
I've seen this play before. No Requiem available.
There's the Avalanche. Gonna be able to keep his cool for a little bit. Shadow Handle, I think it's all for naught at some point.
Oh, he really no! I guess that's the safer play, because otherwise you ditch the Tiny who may end up dying.
It hurts. You wanted to see that happen.
It hurt. You wanted to see Tiny get the kill, but very much the safe and probably smarter play to just bring the Tiny out of there. Let the SF survive.
And he went for drums now as well, so opting to not go for that early blank dagger, thinking that he's going to be able to keep up well enough with the Tiny and the extra movement speed.
And normally when you see the drums, you don't go back for the blink because you want to transition into the Ag Scepter. Getting 2 items before your Ag Scepter is just not really done that often because of how much it delays the Ags.
Oh. And Clockwork really has been struggling for farm this game in the offlane. Like, obviously he doesn't need a ton because you're going to want to be able to just still have that hook shot and toss it on in there, but the only hook that we really ended up seeing was onto that IO, which didn't pay off a ton because of, you know, the nice tether away that we saw. Yeah. So it kind of looking like, to a certain extent, Misery's been a bit of a dead hero in terms of the impact he's been able to have just by game flow. Yeah. Would love to be able to see a Blade, or do you think it's a good Blade Mail game this time around?
I always love the item against Gyrocopter because it means if you hook onto him and trap him and isolate him, if you have a Blade Mail, he blows himself up with the Rocket Barrage. So I think it's great against the Gyro. The problem is just that he's not finding the farm. By the time he could consider a Blade Mail, we may be already looking at a BKB timing from the Gyro, who is going Yasha first, but he could go Yasha into a BKB, even just farm up a BKB in no time at all because of how well he's doing. So Misery's big problem has been like he got the levels and solo XP in the lane against the Gyro, a lane he wasn't expected to win, and he got some CS. He's sitting on 29. What he had to do was make sure those first rotations were successful, and they have completely backfired and worked against his team in the case of that jungle hookshot.
Certainly. Well, looking to try and bait things out a little bit. I kind of get the feeling that Empire knows what's going on, though, as they rotate on into the jungle instead. And they're just going to play it super safe at this point. Just like down there on the side trying to potentially go for that Shadow Fiend kill. We don't need to be able to get any further ahead at this point. Just play it out safe, take the objectives that we want to take, and I mean, I guess, I feel like they can still fight, though, at this point, and to some extent they should. But maybe just picking the correct fights?
Yep. I think they are looking to pick the correct fights. Like Yoku in his own jungle, they're farming the big camp to go mid, just knowing that Secret are grouped up near this top lane. And I think their place where they'll try and take that fight is this bottom lane. They're going to go for the tier 1 tower. They've already put a ward down in the Radiant jungle. So any Radiant rotation towards this bottom lane or their own jungle is going to be spotted out and quite likely counterplayed. It's still nighttime for some time, and that's where the vision advantage will go Empire's way with the Night Stalker.
Certainly. Yeah, that's going to become a pretty big thing. And he is actually going for the Aghanim Scepter, still about 2,500 gold away from finishing that off. So no time super soon unless we see a quick succession of team fights. It does look like they're going to continue to try and push on out this lane here, and we might actually see a contest. I feel like Secret right now is thinking they're Roshing and might be a little bit caught out if the initiation comes. Resolution's here, does end up spotting the courier. It's being brought on out. It's Shadowblade.
No detection on the dire side as well for this. At least not yet.
Well, this is going to be a little bit dangerous right here. Weehawd does have it up. There's the Fiend's Grip on top of Misery. Is this going to be a turnaround? Blade Fury coming out. Not sure if it's going to be enough damage, but Clockwork immediately destroyed by the Bane. Meanwhile, Shadow Fiend takes out Aloha Dance as well. There's the Omni Slash doing a good amount of damage, but not quite enough. Shadow Fiend does end up dying, though. And now Tiny turning it around, able to take down Jackie pretty low. Yeah, it's just not looking good right now for Secret. They're in a very dangerous situation. We do end up getting the kill on the Bane from the Dazzle with the Shadow Wave. He's going to try and TP away, but the Avalanche toss, everything getting thrown out on him. That's going to be another dead hero. So at the end, 3 for 2. I don't think that Secret are terribly upset about this. Oh, they bought back on Clockwork?
Yeah. It was a 4 for 2 with the buyback, and one of those deaths was their Shadow Fiend, who, to me, is the more important carry than the Juggernaut at this stage. So Definitely good fight for Empire. That was a big win for them. They had the numbers, they just have the... This is the time where Empire's lineup is strongest, and I don't think Secret want 5v5 fights. They want pickoffs like this. This is a hero isolated on their own, and unfortunately, without a Blade Mail, Silent's just too tanky.
Oh.
They're gonna turn it around.
Oh my god, so much damage. Is he gonna be able to walk away from this one? Are you freaking kidding me? He's not
And
even
got to
that
farm
tanky.
some familiars. I mean, everything going Empire's way. Familiars, 2 kills. Silent doesn't die. Easy peasy.
Interestingly, the Tiny did opt to go there, and he's going to use that Blink Dagger, despite
no
the fact
Shadow
that he ended
Blade.
up getting there as well. And no Shadow Blade, like you said, that's going to be a dead hero. So he went for the Blink Dagger after the drums. Just extra mobility at this point, I guess, and feeling comfortable. Going to toss up the Bane one time, as well as some Nightmares. They're feeling good right now. Empire happy about the results so far.
So you see stuff like that, and you can just like hear them laughing to each other in their team speak, and well, with good reason. They have found themselves 16 minutes in the game with a 10,000 plus net worth lead. That is going to be hard for Secret to turn around. They can enter farm mode, but that almost to me just plays into Empire's hands. If you're just trying to efficiently farm the map using your Jug and Shadow Fiend, Empire will just use their smokes, take Roshan, get map control, and just try and quite likely successfully find pickoffs with their lineup, which is just geared for finding pickoffs.
Well, and I don't think that a Juggernaut's going to be able to outfarm a Gyrocopter in any case. Unless you're sort of, got a Battle Fury, which isn't necessarily the build. That's going to be a jump forward, trying to catch out on Aloha Dance. Tosses up if they want to use it. Going to be able to toss him onto the other creeps over there, and Tiny's just going to be able to make his way away, no problem.
And farming alone is never going to be a good idea when you're up against a relocate. So you can't really split up if you're Secret too much, because that's where you get picked apart by the relocate ganks, Night Stalker and Bane roaming around. And this is a Night Stalker who's, about to complete an Ag Scepter. So for Secret, you're kind of forced into a 5-man game, which is not the kind of game you want. You've got a Shadow Blade SF, you've got a Jug with minimal items. You just haven't got a good 5-man lineup. It's still the only option. They need to... To me, the game plan for Secret is use your smoke ganks over the next 3 to 5 minutes, and use your smokes to find ganks and pickoffs. Avoid 5v5 engagements. Find that pickoff and then run as fast as you can away from the relocate.
Well, enforcing potentially a 5v5 engagement is going to be Empire now by taking out this Roshan. I feel like at this point, Secret can't really even contest into the Roche, but even if Empire is pretty low, maybe go for a Clockwork Snatch, but this is going to fall too quickly. Roche is dead in just a second here, with Overcharge up on Tiny, as well as just all of this damage over time. It's just really quickly dead.
Yep. Rocket Flare will come in, but too late.
Oh god. And now a Tiny with Blink, Drums, Booster. What is that? 1,700 gold away. 1,700 gold away from picking up his Ags. Yeah, he is exactly where he wants to be. Yoku making Tiny IO work here.
Yep. And this will turn into a classic Night Stalker game. Finish your Ags, buy a gem, and prevent Secret from having any breathing room whatsoever. You can't even leave your base or your towers at that stage if a Night Stalker can deward the map and have the Ags vision at nighttime. You're just stuck, huddled as 5, scared, waiting for the big bad monsters to come to you, and it's not going to be pretty for Team Secret if Empire can play that polished style of Dota, which they've proven they can do. It's not all about the mindless aggression. This team, they get aggressive when they need to be, and then they tone it down and play kind of that coordinated team fight, team-oriented Dota as well, given the right kind of opportunities.
I really also like here this Manta style pickup by Gyrocopter to be able to soak on up a little bit more of that damage coming out from the Omni Slash. It's a pretty solid pick, and not something that you often see, but again, just making sure that they're reacting to the heroes that are here in play, and that's one of the main ways that you have from Secret to be able to burst down these heroes is by being able to, tossing out that Omni Slash and really burst them down. So really cool.
Item they received a lot of buffs as well this patch, so maybe see some slight build changes because of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, nice little pickup. I like it. So we'll see what Secret's next move is going to be. I think just playing for now while it's daytime, very much they can play the farm game to some extent, and they want to farm up, especially with Weeha, who still needs a BKB. I imagine we'll see that as his next pickup. For now, just holding on to 2k gold, unless he feels he wants something like crazy like a Blink Dagger, so you can follow up a hook shot with a Blink Requiem.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. It could be an opportunity. I feel like, though, again, when you're doing that, you leave yourself a little bit vulnerable to being able to get picked off.
He doesn't even have treads, so if you go Blink Dagger here, you are so squishy on Shadow Fiend. It's like an all-in-ish play, and he's staying at the base. He's picking up the Blink, I think. Oh, he's going Sanch. Okay, never mind.
All right.
He waited around, and then he waited till he had 2250, and then didn't buy a Blink, bought a Sanch, which he already had the money for.
He was just trying to fake you out, man. That's all it is.
but HP. So
Well, yeah, definitely. The night is dark and full of terrors, and I feel like it might be a moment here where Empire is going to try and make their move. And I feel like, when considering you've got this Mantap on the Gyrocopter, you just finished off these couple of other items. Aghanim Scepter soon to be finished off as well. There's going to be a call down on top of Puppey. Avalanche as well. This actually might just kill him right here. Silent kill casually as can be. I don't think I've ever seen. They just like walk away. Pretty awesome there.
you know things are going well for you. And look at this. No Fear is hunting Envy with an Invis rune. He knows if he finds him, a Fiend Script into a relocate is just a dead Jug. So he's going to search far and wide for this Jug, who unfortunately has mostly eluded him.
Looking like they're going to be going for the Sanjin Yasha, and actually now that he's moving on over to the Ancients, I feel like this is where Bane knows where he's going to be. Resolution chasing on here. They're going to go after the... Oh, Shadow Fiend's going to end up falling yet again. Silence everything.
He might.
Oh, God.
There's no relocate.
That's true.
I don't think he can't brain sap is the problem. Yeah, he won't get it. He needed to brain sap before the grip, and even then, during your brains, like before you grip, because of the cast time, he could get that Blade Fury off, blocking the damage.
Right over here, Misery dropping low. He's going to get graved up again. Maybe he's going to be able to survive. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive through this.
Oh, no, who needs it?
That's the ball. Also worth noting, it's not a good sign when your position 1 is running away. Oh, Omni Slash on top of Yoku again. That's the Aegis burned. Maybe going to be able to make this happen.
His Blade Fury's still on cooldown from the TP.
Oh,
level 1 Blade Fury.
Silence down on top of him. There's going to be a kill. Puppey's getting caught as well. Soul Assumption or not, this is going to end up being a heck of a lot of damage onto this tower, and I feel like they're going to be able to take it down, no problem. Do have a little bit of a backdoor protection problem currently.
Good news is there's no Tiny Ag Scepter. Bad news is you're getting pummeled regardless. It's mostly bad news.
Yeah.
It's very much one of those, like, let's at least there's some good news out there, but it's not really good news.
Well, and the worst news right now for Empire is that they can't push a whole heck of a lot more because tier 2 towers are still up. But if that's a problem, that's usually one that you're okay with having.
Well, Empire in some fantastic form, which is a good sign considering they have to play major qualifiers after this, and they are in some good shape right now.
Certainly. Do you think that this is really one of those things where the patch is helping them a lot, or is it more just finding themselves and finding the right team?
I think it's largely a team thing for them. Empire seemed to be lacking just that identity which made them strong for a while when Yoku was playing with Goblek's team for a while. And No Fear, I think, has been a fantastic pickup. This guy is super underrated as a support, and he's actually drafting for the team. I'm not sure if he's like the in-game captain, but...
Oh, Jackie Mao going down. That's going to be cool.
No Fear is an incredibly individually skilled player. You don't get 8,000 MMR by not being individually skilled. That's mostly from playing like core roles, but he's playing support, making plays happen, drafting for his team, and doing so much.
Yeah. Visage ends up picking off Aloha Dance, but
they're high ground, so
it's kind of not going to matter. Jump forward. Who ends up taking out the Night Stalker. Nicely done. Oh, excuse me. Takes out Visage. He explodes. It looks like they're going to back out after these 2 buybacks. Don't want to push their luck too much, but is actually just going to run right the heck on into him. Oh, man, that was a lot of damage coming out. Puppey's going to fall as well. Shadow Fiend, Requiem or not, I don't know if it's going to end up mattering. This is going to be another dead Shadow Fiend in just a second. Triple kill for Silent as well. GG ends up getting called, and Empire take it 2-1.
I know, after the way Game 1 went, I knew we had a good series on our hands with how Empire were playing, but often you see like that close Game 1 and the team who lost just kind of falling apart, falling flat in Game 2, but Empire stepped it up. That Game 1 must have just given them the confidence, like, we can compete with these guys, let's just run at them and just fight, because Game 2 and Game 3, just flawless play from Empire. This game, both Yoku and Resolution, not a single death between the two of them. And it seems like Empire figured out how they want to draft, play, and Secret still kind of bouncing around from like crazy strat to kind of craziest strat. It works some of the time, doesn't work other times. The Meepo Brute in Game 2 completely backfired, and this game around it was just too many heroes trying to farm against an Empire team that wasn't giving them any room.